we always come full circle with certain guests over the years, and we get to revisit today with Smoke Wallin. Smoke is talking to us today with his hat of founder and co-chairman of the Wine Industry Technology Symposium. And my gosh, if you are in the position of a wine producer or in any of the level of sales, you certainly are involved with technology that's just so pivotal to the growth and reaching your audience. And on July 10th and 11th, we will be able to tell you information about the 8th annual Wine Industry Technology Symposium that will be held at the Napa Valley Marriott. Smoke, thank you so very much for joining us today. And you have a lot going on, and this platform of, and this is new to me, WITS, Virtual Tasting Network, and Sip and Twit platform. Talk to us about all this. Very clever, wording of things.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Lynn, thanks for having me, and great to be back on the show. It's been a few years, so it's a pleasure to join you. The WITS is a pretty cool company that a friend of WITS, Steve Gilbert, has started years ago, and they've got about 500,000 followers.
Wow.
Across Twitter and various other social networks, and they basically do these live tastings of wine sponsored by the wineries.
Okay.
And with wine bloggers kind of involved who have a huge following. And so they'll get like 60 or 100 wine bloggers of some, people that are into wine that do blogging to taste the wine live, and then people can do it at home, and so they'll buy the wine and be drinking it and comparing tasting notes kind of virtually through Twitter at the same time. So we thought it would be a really cool experiential learning opportunity at WITS to do it live there with all the wineries that come and are involved, and patch in lots of people that can't come to Napa.
Yeah. Wow. So what are the different, the 2 days, there are going to be a lot of different like discussions or sessions that people can go and listen and or participate in?
Absolutely. So the history of this, just to step back a little bit and get the bigger picture, I was in the software business. I was a distributor, and we had software that we had acquired that sold to wineries. And I was trying to find the industry trade shows that made sense to go present our software and explain what we're doing and further the cause of using great technology in winery operations and sales and to reach consumers. And there really wasn't any event that was set up for that. So I got together with a few other leaders in the industry, and we put together WITS the first year. And as you mentioned in your intro, this is our 8th year going annually. We get about 350 to 400 attendees every year. And the whole point of this is learning, innovation, best practices, case studies, and certainly there's a lot of vendors involved who make software or make technology related to the wine business, but the focus is on what's best of class, what are practices that people are doing, and learning from each other so that everyone who comes to this thing walks out with some take-home value.
Do you have people that are participating, they're actually physically there from other countries, or is it mainly West Coast participants?
We do get a smattering of international winery folks every year, and sometimes some technology folks. Okay. But it certainly is predominantly North American based. Okay. And we certainly get a large turnout from the Northern California wine markets. But we get people traveling from all over the country and Canada, and again, occasionally we have a small number that come from Europe and Australia and other places. And we certainly encourage folks to travel for it. that it only works if it works for them.
Right. Exactly. But I understand that blogging is becoming a bigger and bigger force in Europe. I mean, just
think that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would think, although I really don't know for sure, that United States wine industry is leading this technology of speaking to your audience through social networking versus wineries in other countries.
You know, I would be hesitant to make that statement myself, just because I don't know enough about how advanced others are around the world.
Okay.
But I can tell you that there's a lot of innovation out there happening, and we've got some of the really the leaders in reaching consumers via social media and online and all the new technologies participating. You know, a couple of our keynotes, we've got a keynote from Groupon, which you might know who they are, but they went public last year, and they're kind of a deal experience site where every day there's a new deal and you can experience a local attraction. And although that's much broader than just wine, we felt having the national sales director from Groupon speak to us to address kind of what are they doing broadly and how are they reaching so many consumers and creating so much value would be really relevant to our audience. Yeah,
I mean, it occurs to me that you might, the example of Groupon, that there might be people in the restaurant industry, the food industry, or other kind of disposable income sort of industries that might, be participating in this Wine Industry Technology Symposium.
Absolutely. We've got another keynote, Sean Moffat, who is his company is Agent Wildfire, and he's basically an evangelist and leader of the kind of wiki brand concept of how do you take brands and bring them to the consumer via social media platforms. And Sean's a really compelling speaker, has represented diverse companies from Molson to Guinness to Labatt to Procter & Gamble and many, many others, and he's kind of bringing that expertise across large consumer product companies and reaching many, many consumers to how does it apply to the wine business in his view. And some of it's going to make sense for your winery, and some of it will just be interesting learning. But the point is to have kind of best of class, leaders who are all thinking about how does this apply to this business and this industry.
And there will be wineries there, not just listening to the keynote speakers, but also pouring a lot of wine tastings, like in the evenings, or is it going to be off and on throughout the 2 days?
Yeah, so the way we break it out, we do a lot of very small sessions where we have a panel or a small number of speakers presenting a certain concept and going kind of a deep dive or a case study, as you will, on that topic. And those sessions typically are very interactive, so it's very much user participation encouraged, and in fact, a lot of the value, in my opinion, comes from interaction with each other.
Right.
So we do a lot of those sessions, and the first day is primarily, that's all it is. It's kind of workshops.
Okay.
The second day is the keynote sessions where we bring these kind of world-class leaders from outside of wine, but apply it to the wine business. And then we do more breakout sessions throughout the afternoon. In between that, we've got a technology showcase, and that's really where the vendors who make software, make the applications and technology that are directed at the wine industry, whether it be production, vineyard management, sales and marketing, consumer reaching, touching directly, all those different categories, that's where a lot of those folks have an opportunity to display their wares. Wineries can interact with the offerings and really talk one-on-one with folks that are producing some of the leading edge technology. So it's really a low pressure selling environment. It's really a nice way to learn and explore and see everything that's out there all at one place.
If people want to attend physically, they can go on to wineindustrytechnologysymposium.com and purchase their tickets. But with the namesake being Wine Industry Technology, and as you mentioned earlier, there might be people who want to be participating, but they can't. And so is there a price for getting involved with any of this that they could be watching or, I don't know, jumping in on the conversation via Twitter or whatever you have lined up?
Well, it's a great question, and it's something that we have talked about internally quite a bit. But how do we make this an interactive conference where it could reach everyone in the world who wants to be a part of it? We're not quite there yet.
Okay.
That said, you can participate. Certainly, there'll be Twitter handles, and people will be talking about what's going on as it goes on.
Okay.
If you go to the website, actually, you can look at many of the past presentations. The actual presentations are on there.
Okay.
So you can kind of walk through and really skim through 7 years of these conferences and some of the cool things that have been presented. And the Twitter Taste Live event with Wine Twist, I think, is an opportunity to participate live and do the tasting with us and just experience one of those kind of events and see how that works. And that'll be very active on Twitter. After the fact, we will post various presentations and have links to all the speakers and everything. So, I think in the future, I'd like to see something where maybe people could sign up and participate virtually in some way.
Well,
but we're not quite there yet.
Kind of an example from some of the wine industry, the auction houses are able to do that now. Smoke, real quick, let's also mention that people can join in the conversation on LinkedIn, Wine Industry Technology Symposium group.
Yes, absolutely. And we have a Facebook group as well. So with Wine Industry Technology on Facebook also.
Okay, cool.